Hi friends, I am on my CEO planning weekend. I have, just my table here in my Airbnb, and I actually got in last night and I already set up a couple of calendars and my diffuser and a noise machine and dove into just a little bit of work, and then I went to bed. And today is my first full planning day. I just wanted to kind of share with you what a planning weekend is, what I'm doing here, and why I'm taking this time away. Let me first show you guys around. So there's a kitchen, which is really nice. I looked at a couple of hotels and then I decided, let's just do an Airbnb because it was a little bit cheaper actually. And then it had a full kitchen, so I can make food and heat things up and stuff like that. And I have the room that I'm staying in, and then there's also another room here, and this is where I'm going to be doing a lot of my calendar planning here in just a little bit. I'm going to be first reflecting on 2020, looking at what happened, what kind of revenue did I make, what kind of profitability did I have, what kind of clients was I working with, looking at the previous year, asking myself how I was spending my time, what kind of work hours I had, that kind of stuff, and then moving into the new year. So setting some goals based on what happened in 2020 for 2021. I'm also going to be reading a couple different books. I'm going to be listening on audiobook and looking at the physical copy, because I feel like that combination is really helpful for me. That's just something I've been doing lately. Yeah, I'll show you guys inside of Notion. I have a Notion workspace dedicated to this weekend. Whenever I saw a podcast that I was like, this sounds like it would be really helpful, but I just don't have time right now. I need to put this during my planning weekend. I saved it. So things about planning for a maternity leave, which P.S. I'm pregnant. So that's something I'm thinking about for next year, is really thinking how am I gonna plan for a maternity leave? How am I going to batch content, get the help on my team that I need in order to not lose too much momentum, but also be able to fully step away and enjoy this baby, because that's my plan. That's what I'm gonna do. I want a full maternity leave. I'll show you what I have going on. Every time I got a printable or a PDF in an email from somebody that I thought, wow, this looks really helpful, I saved that, and I either printed it out and put it in a folder, which I have in the kitchen, or I put it inside of Notion. So between those two things, I'm just gonna knock out as much as I possibly can, but I really do have to prioritize what is gonna get my time today, because I have all of today. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning right now, maybe 8:30, and I have until 11 a.m. checkout tomorrow, which is not that much time when you really think about it. In previous years, I've definitely, set aside a day or a chunk of time, maybe 2 or 3 hours, to sit down, grab a glass of wine, and really think through some prompting questions of, where do I want to be in 5 years, and what kind of business am I building, that kind of thing. But I've never actually taken the time to dedicate a weekend to this, and I wanted to do this last year, but with Clara being so little, it just wasn't feasible. This year I knew it was kind of this golden window between baby 1 and baby 2 that I had to take advantage of it. If you can take a weekend away, do it. If you can't get a full weekend, block times. Last year, I couldn't get the weekend, like I said, so I went to Panera in 3 or 4 hour chunks 3 times. I asked my mom for help one time, I asked a friend for help, and I had my husband watch Clara the other time. Ask for help. Switch daycare or childcare with another mom. If you don't have kids, this is a little bit easier for you to find the space and time, but I'm sure, if you're juggling a day job, you're busy too. So find the time, give this time to yourself, because planning is incredibly helpful in terms of saving time for the rest of the year, gaining vision, gaining clarity. And that's something I feel like I haven't had this year. Just towards the end of this year, thinking, where am I going? What products am I putting out? What courses am I doing? Am I gonna do a group coaching program? I'm constantly asked for different programs, different products, different services. And so I really have to think about, where am I gonna spend my time as a one-woman show and a mom and a wife and all the things. And this is the weekend where I make those decisions. And so if you feel a little bit like you're just reacting to your business, you're reacting to client emails, you're flying by the seat of your pants, it's time for a planning weekend. So give that to yourself. Let me show you a little bit more of what I'm doing throughout the day. So I'll check in as I have things to share. Okay, thanks for joining me. So this is the 2021, just year at a glance, very typical calendar. I had this printed at, I think it was Office Depot or Staples. I always get those two confused, but I have the bag over here, so I'll show you. And then there's actually a couple more calendars that come with it. There's quarterly breakdown calendars, which I love. You guys know I love quarterly calendars. So this is quarter 1 and quarter 2.
And then, hello, I have Q3, which fell off the wall while I was asleep, and Q4. So I will rehang that. But I got a couple of copies of this printed on engineer's paper. Yeah, so Office Depot. I actually have a whole nother copy of each of these. They were super dirt cheap, like seriously so cheap. And the download for the calendars themselves were like $12, $14, I don't know. I remember thinking I got them printed for less than like 20 bucks total. So really, really useful. And I liked having wall calendars, and I printed them in a couple of different copies because I figured once I go here and maybe I write some things in, maybe I use sticky notes, they could get kind of beat up. I would love to be able to come back to this, you know, once I'm home and I'm ready to put these on my wall in my office and, you know, have a clean copy. I could use one for clients, I could use one for YouTube, I could use one for the blog. So the options are really endless there. So anyway, that's what I'm up to. All right, so a couple things I brought, just a tabletop easel. One thing that was really cool, I got this because it has dry erase on the other side. So really cool. And then this side is just giant sticky notes. So I can actually put these on the wall. I also brought a printed workbook of my signature program, Hook and Book Brides, because I really want to review this because I'm probably going to be adding a great deal to the course, so bonus, if you're in the program, you're going to get all of the updates. And so this is a course that I launched, I think 2 years ago, and it's just been so helpful to so many photographers, particularly wedding photographers, looking to attract and book their dream clients without necessarily having to pay for ads. And so it's marketing, it's branding, it's all the things. And so this is something that I'm gonna be revisiting as I content plan. So like I said, I have kind of like a planning weekend agenda where this is part 1. So I have just like PDFs and data and all kinds of stuff that I wanna reflect upon, like my survey that I did. And this is one of the things that I started on last night that I'm going to be finishing today. This is by Social Squares. I am a member of Social Squares, so this is just a download that they had for December. It's so helpful. I'm really just reflecting on your year and, you know, what went right, what would you like to change, how did you spend your time, what was your profitability, like seriously such helpful, incredible questions. So I'm still working on this, and I have a few more pages in here. And then I have a content planning book where anything that's like, okay, let's actually plan videos or plan captions, stuff like that. Like this is a caption guide that I bought actually, and a brand worksheet, stuff like that. I'm gonna work on that second. And then I have a bunch of books, which obviously I'm not gonna have time to get through all of these, but I might reference them because these are some of my favorite books that have really helped me grow my business. And I'm definitely going to try to finish Primal Branding today. So I just finished looking at the numbers for my business for 2020. So top of line revenue, profitability, what were my costs, really breaking down like where did I make money, what offers were profitable, and then looking at that and being like, okay, if I made money from portrait sessions or weddings or coaching one-to-one with other photographers, where did I actually spend my time, and does that make sense with how much I made? And so talking about that, and then also going through my expenses. And that was intense because I have a lot of subscriptions. I pay second shooters, assistants, contract labor, I hire childcare, all kinds of different people for all kinds of different things. And so it can be a little scary to look at my business expenses sometimes because they're just much higher than they used to be. So I need to ask myself, like, what of these expenses do I keep? What's making me money? And what might need to get cut? And so that's what I was just doing. So now I'm gonna be really looking into like brand and business development. And so we went into the money, we went into profitability, went into time management, and now I'm gonna dive into the next section. And I think there was a section on creativity, and I think that's it. Yep, so I'm in the final section
of the Social Squares review. Oh, one other note, in the description section below, I will link my yearly guide that I go through myself that I created that you can also take for free. It's a download. It helps you just audit, like, how did your year go? It's very similar to what I'm doing here actually. And you can grab that. That'll be in the description. Don't laugh at me. The heat went out in my Airbnb and it's probably like 30 or 40 degrees outside. It's pretty cold. So the temperature has slowly been dropping in my Airbnb. So until that gets fixed, if it gets fixed, I am dressed like this, with like my sweater from before coming out. Okay. I've started going through some of my calendars and planning out my maternity leave actually, because I think if I get specific about my maternity leave and I decide when I'm leaving, how long I'm leaving for, what I'll be doing during that time, it's actually really going to help me know what needs to happen in quarter 1, because I'll basically have all of quarter 1 to like hit this business hard, and then quarter 2 is like, okay, baby, quarter 3, come back strong. So I'm kind of working at this a little bit backwards. I have to start with the maternity leave so that I know how much I need to plan for, and you know how much like business revenue I need to make in quarter 1 to hopefully stockpile a little bit of extra cushion for my business in quarter 2 as I leave. My current plan right now is what I'm thinking is I will take the 2 weeks before my due date as a like, I'm on maternity leave, but like if I happen to feel really good and I don't go early, I can get stuff done, but I don't have anything planned. Like I won't be taking coaching clients, I won't be doing webinars, and my content will be planned. So that to me, I'm thinking I could do lives, I could do other things if I feel good and if the baby doesn't come. And then I have my due date and I'm trying to fill in how many weeks I want. Right now I'm thinking at least 6 weeks, but I'll probably aim to make 8 to 12 weeks of actual content so that if I feel really great and I want to come back, I can go ahead and dive back into coaching and some of my things that I haven't announced yet, but basically come back to my students without having to come back and sit down for YouTube, because that will be on autopilot. So that's one of my big goals, is that YouTube will not take a hit even when I'm out and I'm like learning how to be a new mom again. So that's where I'm at currently. Okay, so I think what I'll do is when I put these up at home, I'll just put like tape across the weeks. And then as I plan out like actual videos, like the literal video that's gonna go up that Wednesday, I'll start blocking that in, and then blocking in, you know, what's gonna happen inside of PhotoBoss, what's gonna happen with clients, my one-to-one client work, any of my students, things like that, you know, what's going up inside PhotoBoss and that kind of thing. I'm probably not going to go ahead and do this all the way across for the full maternity leave, only because this isn't how I'm gonna do it at home. I think I'm gonna save these for content. So I'm gonna start blocking in where I wanna do like launches and videos and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna get washi tape and just go across the weeks for maternity leave once I get home. I'm trying to remember how it was with Clara. I didn't really have an official maternity leave. I wanted to, but then I had a team member like abruptly drop and decide that they weren't gonna keep helping me move my business forward. And so I was not as prepared in content. And so I didn't really have content planned, and I went back, I think like 7 weeks postpartum to shoot my first wedding. And I felt like it was doable for me because I didn't have complications, but I did not want to be there. Like if I could have decided to like reschedule that to a later date, I totally would have. So when I say that I'm doing 6 weeks leave, I'm thinking 6 weeks from like hardcore like content creation, email writing, videos, course creation, showing up for like my coaching students, all of that. But if I were to get like, okay, a wedding inquiry, a portrait inquiry, like brand photos, I probably wouldn't take that until 8 or 10 weeks. This could be applied really to like any sabbatical from your business, to reintroduce business into your life and you have a family, kind of the same deal. I'll probably have stages where in the first couple weeks, I'm not gonna check email. I need to have a team member do that. after like maybe a month, I might start checking in periodically. And then after maybe 8 weeks, I'll start shooting, but not weddings. You know what I mean? So I just have to create those rules and parameters. And so that's stuff that I'm thinking through right now. And hopefully that's helpful. Okay, so in an effort to keep it real, I am bundled in yesterday's clothes because the heat went out sometime early this morning at my Airbnb, and I just got space heaters, and the space heaters say 61 degrees. So 61 degrees in here. I'm on the couch because I'm pregnant and I'm tired. My back kind of hurts, but I'm still doing reading, and I've been getting a lot of stuff done, but it's funny, it's not as like glamorous or as whatever I pictured in my head of like sitting in at this beautiful desk with like all my paperwork and like planning for the year. Like it's just so much messier than you think it's gonna be. So if you're planning for 2021 just looks kind of like a hot mess and it's just in the fringes and it's not this like beautiful weekend, that is okay. Still plan, it is still worth your time. So this is just like the real behind the scenes. I finally have 2 space heaters in my Airbnb now. They brought them to me because the heat is officially broken. But I just got delivered a bunch of food. I now have a cookie that is as big as my face and enough food that they had to give me like multiple sets of silverware. So I'm not even gonna be offended. It was a lot of food. I'm excited. So I'm gonna take a break, watch some Netflix, and then maybe 45 minutes or so, get back to some business brainstorming. But I feel like I'm starting to get a grasp for where I'm going, you know, what my offers are gonna be, who I'm serving, why I'm doing it, like what my legacy is. I feel like for me personally, I just have to know like where I'm going. And then once I know where I'm going, I'm excited to go there. But when I don't know where I'm going and I'm just feeling a lack of clarity, I stop moving. But when I take a minute to just be still and think about things, it starts to piece together. So anyway, time for food. See ya. It is about 7:30. I finished the book Primal Branding, which is great. I really needed to listen to it / read it and just be like thinking about my brand. Brand in my business has changed tremendously over the past 7 years. And now it holds such a different meaning to me, and I think to my clients and customers, than it used to years and years ago. I just selected the winner at random from my survey, that's the word. Now I'm in like content creation mode, and I'm trying to think, you know, all the way down to like, what kind of videos am I making? What are the titles? You know, what order should these go in, and when am I launching things? I'm brainstorming a couple of new courses, new products based on what you guys are telling me here, which is crazy. So like starting stuff from like zero and outlining that kind of stuff. So I think I'm just gonna do that. I'll probably set a timer, try to do like 3 20-minute chunks, and then call it a night, and then hit it early in the morning again and see what I can get done before I check out of this Airbnb. Thankfully, it looks like we're 68 degrees in here, so much better than before. And there's a space heater in my room too, so it'll be comfortable. I was getting a little worried. I was like, am I gonna have to go home? Like, what the heck? When the heat went out. Anyway, so yeah, it's been productive. I've pretty much gotten through all the little like worksheets and miscellaneous promptings, things that I had printed. There's one sheet that was really cool. You might even still be able to get it. It's older. It's called The Year Ahead by Discovery Coaching. So it's discovery-coaching.com. It's been fruitful. It has been challenging and draining to be thinking about all of these things. Try to make decisions and learn at the same time. So I'm trying to make decisions, but I'm also trying to educate myself. I actually spent maybe like 1 hour researching and watching videos by self-employed women on how they did maternity leave. I have a bunch of books coming in the mail that didn't come in time for this, so I'm going to continue to be formulating some ideas. Anyway, this has been real. I'll talk to you soon. All right, friends, quick wrap up here of my CEO planning weekend video that you just watched. I just wanted to share my final thoughts now that I've had a few weeks to think about it and really start to implement some of the things that I was planning during that video, and now I'm actually doing them in my business. And I think that the act of planning, whether it is at home or away, is so crucial as a business owner. This is the first time I've ever done something away from home. I've always just done this when I've had time. Before I had Clara, I was just making it work, right? So if you don't have time to go away, just know that you can do this at home on your own time and at your own pace. The important thing to do is to plan. The important thing is to carve out the time to actually make this happen in your business. I think I need to be doing this at least twice a year. A year is a long time. And if you're going in the wrong direction and you don't realize it until you sit down to really do an intensive, in-depth business review, then it's too late. It's you waited a year to sit down and do it, and you can't say, wow, this is not working. We need to pivot something. Now we're in 2021, woo, new year. I have a calendar right here in my office. It's already marked that at the beginning of July is going to be a time when I do a mid-year check-in. So it might not be as in-depth of a process as looking at a whole year. So hopefully it takes a little bit less time, but I would love to check in. I wanna know, what's my revenue? What's working? Where have I been spending my time? What's fueling me? Who are my happiest students? And maybe even do another full review with you guys and ask you, what are you loving? What do you want to see more of? And what are you not loving? In summary, taking the time to plan, whether that planning is away or at home, is always going to be worth your while. You also might want to plan more than just once a year. And if you're interested in getting my planning guide, I know a lot of you guys have already gotten your hands on it, but I'm going to have that linked down below. It's going to walk you through all of the steps for kind of doing an audit on your business as a business, really looking at your offers, your ideal clients, your marketing, and your money, and deciding where to go next. Because I know that this can be a little bit overwhelming. So I hope that this guide helps you. Go ahead and grab it in the description section below. Thank you for watching this video. It's been so different than my normal, just talking head, kind of like I am here. And I hope to do a lot more videos like this in 2021. So if you enjoyed this, please consider sharing it with someone that you think would also get something out of it. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.